That's right, Wyze, the same company that has brought you smart home tech for years, like cameras, smart locks, water sensors, and even most recently, a robot vacuum, has now created a pair of active noise canceling headphones. Hello, I'm Wanderer001, and this is my review of the, as I said, the Wyze active noise canceling headphones. To be perfectly honest, this is the first time that I have felt that Wyze, when they have strayed from what made them great, their core home security automation tech, this is the first product that they've done that I felt that it actually was worthwhile. They've made some stretch goals, shall we say, with the Wyze Scale and Wyze Band. In fact, I have a playlist up there in the corner with all the Wyze products that I have reviewed in the past. Let me say, I was pleasantly surprised with these headphones. I was not expecting a lot, to be honest. I've tested a lot of other active noise canceling headphones in this price range. Again, review list up there in the corner. So I kind of had my expectations with the Wyze headphones here. First being the setup process. Yes, there was a setup process for a pair of noise canceling headphones. So let me show you what the setup process for this was like. This is setup of the Wyze headphones. We're gonna come over to the plus sign and add device. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Here are our headphones. All right, so it's gonna ask to use Bluetooth to scan for nearby devices. All right, so it wants to use it all the time. I am going to say only while I'm using the app. And it's searching for headphones, which I'm going to assume I probably, so I need to turn them on. So it said power on and pairing, and I'm gonna select next. Or in this case, I'm gonna hit try again. All right, so it looks like it's probably finding them because it is nearby. All right, it wants to access my contacts. I'm going to say no and just pair. Cover the right cup with your hand and touch pad to use and control on the headphones. All right, so it says I should cover that. It's got a firmware. I'm gonna update. So apparently you are not supposed to charge your headphones during the update. And this update could take 30 minutes. Wow. So as far as Wyze products go for updates, that is pretty crazy. Obviously, I won't make you sit through the update, but wow. I mean, even their cameras don't have something quite like that right out of the box. So we'll see how long this actually takes. Current time is 2:30, and we'll come back. All right, so thankfully the update did not take 30 minutes. It only took about 10 minutes. And we can select what's new and it will tell us what was released in this particular firmware. In our case, we're gonna hit done. So it's gonna give us some information: high noise cancellation, low noise cancellation, or transparency mode. And every time I swiped, it's hearing this thing say noise cancellation high, noise cancellation low, and then transparency mode. And right up here, we've got options for the EQ, so we can mess with that if we wanted to. And our settings, we'll come through and do a full look at that later. And there's our power. So we're gonna hit back. I got a sticker. I don't recall actually getting a physical sticker for this one in the box. So I guess this one only comes with a virtual sticker. Not complaining, but just making a notation. And right up here, it's at the top. So if I want, I can click on that and it's connecting. All right. And that is the setup of the Wyze headphones through the Wyze app. What we're gonna try now is see if we can just connect this via Bluetooth to another phone. We are going to attempt to pair the Wyze headphones with a device that does not use the Wyze app to do so. Here we go, headphones, and I'm gonna say pair. So you can connect this via the Bluetooth pairing option. However, you will not get access to the other Wyze specific things such as EQ adjustments and so forth. Let's just talk about the headphones right now. So right there you can see they do have the pivoting, so you can lay them flat or around your neck if you wanted to. You've got, aside from being able to fold the ear cups, you can also fold them in for storage purposes for the bag. So both sides can do it. And you can kind of toss it into your carrying bag that way. A fully plastic design, and here you can see it's very flexible, very stretchy. Your adjuster mechanism there, also plastic. Not super fan of that because I just feel, you know, too much plastic could hurt this in the long run. Your head cushion up here, I'm not gonna lie, it's very thin. It's not super plushy. It's made of the fake leather that you see on a lot of these types of headphones in this price range. You may have noticed when I was holding it sideways, they do have a little artist swoop on the side, and to be honest, I thought I was not going to like that at all. And from a design point of view, I'm still torn about it, but it does not actually get in the way in any way, shape, or form, so I don't really care about it. It's not that bad. When we come down to the ear cup, you'll notice that it is a circular ear cup. However, when we get inside, it does have the classic oval cutout for your ear. I do like a oval ear cup normally, just because of the way that my ears are. These are a little smaller than I would have liked. However, they do that because there is just so much plush cushioning to block out all of that noise. And the beauty of this is, aside from having big old right and left printed on the inside, you can use these without actually having the noise cancellation on and still muffle the sound of the world around you because of how thick this cushion is and how close this gets to your ear. With the super soft cushion that you have for your ears, that helps to cut down on the actual noise. I will say I have used them with my glasses, and because it is super squishy, you can see it forms around whatever it's being pressed against. You won't have any issues if you wear glasses. The one caveat with this is because the ear cups themselves are the circular design with only really an elongated oval for your ear, the way that this sits on my head is a little more far forward than I would like when I use something like the Tautronics, which has an oval ear cup, but also a little more room in the ear cup itself that allows me to place this a little further back on my head, which is my preferred position. This one sits a little more far front than I would like. I have gotten used to it over time. Hiding behind that R or L is a 40mm dome driver, which is going to give you your sound. I will admit I mostly listen to podcasts on these. However, testing them with actual music, you kind of get a mixed bag, as you do with most active noise canceling headphones. If you actually turn on the noise cancellation, you will notice that your music is going to flatten out the sound. Now, before we actually get into the interesting things or the controls for the Wyze headphones, well, it's always good to know what comes in the box with these types of things. And just like most other headphones in this price range, you get a microfiber carrying case, the drawstring. They do give you a 3.5 to 3.5 cable if you wanted to listen to your headphones connected without having to use the battery. And they also give you a USB-C, as soon as I get that to focus. They also give you a USB-C to USB-A connector port there. Obviously no wall wart is included, which brings us back to our headphones and what we can do with them. So coming down, you will notice on the left ear cup, we'll start with that one. We'll swing it up to the top. You'll notice perforations on both ear cups and microphones. These are for your transparency mode, which we'll discuss a little later. But this was the first headset that I had with something called transparency mode. And let me tell you, it's a game changer. But coming down on the left-hand side here, you have a very large button for your active noise cancellation. The problem that I have with these over some of the competitors in this price range, notice I cannot turn active noise cancellation on without actually coming over to the right ear cup and turning on the device itself. The active noise cancellation, when using the button and not the app itself, can only either turn on or off the noise cancellation. So on, it's at its highest setting, and then off, you actually go into the transparency mode so you will hear what's going on around you. Depending on what level of noise cancellation you're using is what you'll actually hear. I've tested this with, air conditioner, bathroom fan, talking, TV. And what you'll notice is with those more motor sounds, it will cut them out completely. At the highest level of noise cancellation, it will dull what somebody is saying to you. You still will be able to make out what they're saying if you listen very carefully, but more of those, mechanical sounds. And it's a certain decimal range, and I'll have that down in the description area below. But those are what's actually going to get blocked out with this. Somebody talking to you, you still be able to hear kind of, and if you're listening to something on top of using the noise cancellation, you definitely are going to have to listen very closely to the person in order to hear them. On the left-hand side there, you do see right there, that is the USB-C charging port, and the Wyze headset has a 1000 milliamp battery, which can charge between 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Generally, I was getting about 1.5 to 1.75 hours of charge time. That charge time will give you 20 hours of playback. And I caveat that with an asterisk because the 20 hours of playback depends on the volume that you have these set at, the level of noise cancellation you have this set at, and whether you configured anything in the menu in the app, which we'll discuss later, or if you have the transparency mode on. If you're using transparency mode, you're going to use more battery because you're using more microphones and more technology. We come over to the right cup here. You've got several things, volume up, volume down, and right here in the middle is your play pause. Notice that it has a little raised line. That is the only thing that lets you know that it's there. And let me tell you, when I'm running my thumb along this, trying to find that, it is a pain in the butt. This in particular is a design flaw that I really wish they didn't have. Different shape, space this out, something. Give it a volume rocker and have that as a separate button. But burying it between the volume up and volume down, just make it a pain to try and find. Down there we've got an LED indicator light, and that is our power switch. So if we power it on, you saw a little flash. It says powering on and then connected and has a steady blue light. You can connect this to 2 different devices at once. You can't listen to both devices at once, but you could pair this between 2 separate devices, which is an interesting option. And right there you have your 3.5mm port if you wanted to hardwire this. Now, there are some interesting things that you can do with this right ear cup. First being, if we take our palm and go like this, it will turn on transparency mode, meaning even if you're in an active noise cancellation mode, you touch it like that, and it will go into transparency mode. That is an awesome feature. However, it does not pause the audio that you're listening to. So I really wish that, and because this uses an application and has firmware, these headsets have firmware, it's crazy. But because of that, hopefully they can change in the future that if I do that to temporarily go into transparency mode, they actually pause the audio. I get it. If you're doing it quick, you might not want your audio paused, but I kind of do. Yes, I realize I can take them off my head or pause it, but I would like that Wyze. Let's talk about changing that. The other thing that you can do is double tap on your side here, and this will activate your assistant of choice on your smartphone. You have your choice between, in my case since I'm on an Android, Google or Alexa. And yes, I say it like that to try not to trigger your devices. It's a nice feature to have on the go. I don't use it as much because, well, I'm home all the time now, but if I was out, maybe I would use it. It's an interesting concept and adds a new dynamic to a budget range noise canceling headphone. The other thing that they have is auto shut off. So if I take these off my head, it will automatically pause whatever I'm listening to. That's kind of why I want them to be able to, when I touch the side like that, to auto pause. It's an interesting feature, but it, like many things, will still need a little refining and touch up. I have found that if I place this on a table like this when I'm not using them and it's still on, sometimes it will start playing again because it senses something that it's able to play. The problem with that also is when I gave it to my wife to try, she has long hair, her hair was around her ears, she put this on, it didn't automatically start playing again. So that was interesting and just a bit of feedback for you. It is not a plus or a minus for the headset. It's mainly just to let you know as a data point. Now, I was talking about that there are features and firmware that this has. Well, that's because you pair it to an application. You can just pair it to the phone, but you pair it during setup with an application. So let's actually take a look at what you can do with the Wyze application for the Wyze headphones. Here we'll take a look at the Wyze app for your headphones. Yes, they do have an app for your headphones. So we're going to select our headphones. It's going to let us know that it is connecting, even though they already are paired via Bluetooth. Here you can see it is defaulting to showing that it is in private listening mode, meaning the noise cancellation is set for maximum. If we swipe over, it has low, which is an intermediate, or we can turn on transparency mode. Each time you swipe one of these noise cancellation settings, the headphones themselves will give you an audible command letting you know that it has been changed. Up here you can see there is a battery indicator right there letting you know how much battery is left in your headset. We can come here, which is our toggle for the different presets. Currently I have it on voice because I generally am listening to audio podcasts. Now with any of these presets you can change however you like, but you'll notice that it will go from the preset to a custom. So depending on where you like things, you can make your own custom audio form. But we'll just pop through each of them: gaming, voice, movies, bass, and default, which is nothing. And you've got, as you saw, your bass, your mid-range, and then your treble, all are adjustable. For the most part, I'm not a super audiophile. I just leave it on voice for most things, and if I'm watching a movie, I might change it over to that. But for the most part, I just leave it here. I haven't had the need to customize it. The one thing I did notice with customizations is you only have one customization, so you don't have multiple customizations that you could do. I wish they would allow you to do that because I don't know about you, but I do know audiophiles who like to have specific customizations for each of these. Even if you could like long press and hold and have voice 2 or voice 3 for a particular customization that you made as the user, that would be useful. Selecting back, we're going to select our cog or sprocket in the corner because this is going to show us the actual information for the headphones. Here you have the name of the headphones. They're just called headphones because I don't really see a point in changing that, but you could if you wanted to. You have your battery level indicator here right there. It's showing it's 80%. You have your touch controls. So double tap will allow you to activate your assistant, or it can do nothing if you wanted to. So I'm going to go back to activate your assistant. The assistant is chosen by you, so you can either use the Google Assistant or Alexa if you're on an Android device, or Siri if you are on an iOS device. Cover for quick conversations. So if we tap on that, what it will do is quick conversations, it suppresses the audio coming from the headphones. So doing that motion on the ear cup will quiet the conversation so that you can hear what's going on. So it will lower the volume of your audio coming through, and it will automatically put your headphones into transparency mode. Voice assist, here we go. We come in here, you've got your native, which is your Siri, Google, or Bixby, should you have a Samsung device, or you can go to your Alexa. You've got your auto power off, which is a really good feature because I have killed noise canceling headsets by accidentally leaving the noise canceling portion on and it doesn't automatically power itself off. Here you can set it for 15, 30, 60, or never if you so chose. The one thing in this selection area that you may notice is there's no way to turn on or off the noise cancellation by itself. So a lot of the other headsets that I have, it's a switch that you can turn on and just have the noise canceling on without having to power on your headphones and connect them to your phone. The Wyze can't do that, and you don't see any options for that here. Your auto pause is when you take them off of your head and then they automatically pause your track. Coming down, you've got your product guide. So again, it's really helpful that Wyze integrates all of this information into the app itself rather than having a paper that you'll lose, because let's be honest, you will lose it. I've lost them. Device info and Wyze support are listed there as per all the other Wyze applications. You can see there's really no reason to actually go back to this main page here when you're just using the headphones. These are more useful if you have some of the other Wyze products, mainly the cameras. But that has been a look at the Wyze application for the Wyze headphones. The headphones themselves are really light, and part of that is due to the plastic construction of them. That's not taking away from the durability of them and the future thinking that they've put into this. That Bluetooth 5.0 that I was talking about before is great because I've had Bluetooth 5.0 headsets before and they could not keep up when I would watch YouTube videos in 1.75 or 2x speed. In fact, I even watch my own videos like that. With these headsets, you don't have that audio lag problem, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, some of those things that I was mentioning can be fixed via firmware. I'm hoping this next one can be as well. When you get down to 20% battery, there is a nag, a constant nag to charge the battery. And this is the first time I'll admit too that there is a charming male voice instead of a charming female voice letting me know to do that. But the fact that it constantly nags when you start it up, when you turn it off, when you start it up, while you're listening, anytime you're below 20%, it's going to tell you to charge them. Now, when I was doing my testing, I ran these to the ground to make sure that it took 2 hours to charge these. You can quick charge these and get 2 hours of playback in about 10 minutes, but most of us are going to take the time to fully charge these. All in all, I will admit that I have been pleasantly surprised with the Wyze headphones here. The question then becomes, how much do they cost? Well, I said I've tested a lot of other $50 active noise canceling headsets. And when I got these, they were $50. However, if you try and purchase these from Wyze now, they're actually going to be $60 or cheaper if you are a Cam Plus subscriber. I don't know how I feel about that particular monetization venue that Wyze is trying out to offer products cheaper if you are a subscription member. Because if you don't have any Wyze cameras, well then the Cam Plus subscription won't really benefit you to just purchase cheaper things. I don't know about that. I'm on the fence. However, as far as a budget-friendly pair of headphones go, you cannot go wrong with these. Really, you cannot. If they made some of those changes that I was talking about, budget-friendly, active noise canceling headphones with transparency mode, which you will love because sometimes you do need to hear the world around you. You can't go wrong with the Wyze headphones. With that being said, I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like, as that will help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here, you can always help fuel the next review by buying me a coffee, link in the description below. Last but not least, if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, you know what to do.